Yes. Looking back, I guess this Thursday will be 20 years from when you went to the NCAA tournament. Just, I mean, what do you just remember about that whole experience?
The process, man. That year starting off, man, we knew how good we were. We just didn't know, what I'm saying. We was able to, get over that hump because one, we know the MEAC. You have to win the MEAC to have a chance at the NCAA tournament, and we felt that we was good enough for it. We just haven't played together in no games yet. So once we got out there, man, and started gelling, man, with those guys, man, Dustin Braddock and Dakin Braddock, Chucky Gilmore, Moses Malone, all those guys. Once we started gelling, man, it was like it was pretty much set in stone that what we was accomplishing, or wanted to accomplish, we was gonna do it.
Well, you came in as a freshman and you're coming on to a team that was senior laden. How were y'all able to blend so quickly?
It was just the respect value, man. It started during the summer, pick up conditioning, weightlifting, and all that stuff, man. They seen the growth of not only just me, all the seniors that was in, D'Amico Heath and all that. We knew what we wanted to come in there to do, and that was to play. And that was our goal as freshmen. And the guys that came in with pretty much transfers. What helped us out with me and the other guys, well, we all set out my freshman year. I was a prop 48, so I set out with the transfer guys, and so we used to always work out together and do different stuff together. So once we got on the court, man, it was just just gelling and doing the right thing.
You look at that team, it seemed like they had a whole guys who at one and any time could be sort of leaders on the team. But who was sort of like the established guy?
Man, we was always piggybacking off of Dustin Braddock. Dustin Braddock was pretty much our leader. We felt like he can get anywhere on the court he wanted to. He was a senior guy. He played at Clemson, so he played at one of the top levels in college basketball before he got to South Carolina State. So it was just, just listening to him and hearing the stuff that he went through at Clemson and putting it all together when we was at South Carolina State. It just, everything came to fruition.
Okay, Chucky Gilmore, another guy who was sort of really another key on that team. Just talk about his play.
Chucky Gilmore was pretty much a mentor of mine when I got there. He was a 6'9", solid guy, and he made me better as vice versa. I made him better. Going against him and his knowledge of the game, his critique of the game helped me out a lot. Being a freshman, being a new guy, a newcomer in college, not knowing the level of competition that I was getting myself into. And he was one of those comfort guys, man, that pulled me to the side, and said, maybe you should have did this, maybe you should have did that. And I, to this day, man, me and Chucky, man, we communicate and we have that type of relationship.
And just what was it like sort of dealing with a guy who had a big name in Moses Jr.? Just what was he like just dealing with as a person?
Moses, off the court, he was just a normal guy. Everybody, really felt like, he was flashy. He did have nice cars and stuff like that. And, everybody knew him because of his name and all that stuff. But while he was around us, he was just one of the guys, man. We didn't think of no normal, no differently. He booted up, put his shorts on one leg at a time like us, man. So we was like, oh, okay, you're just a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? Your pops played in the league, and which is great. And look up to Moses Malone, man. Rest in peace, man. But we felt like, as a group, we could be good, not just, off his name because of who he was.
Also, there were a couple other guys on that team who at moments had contributions, CJ Clary and also younger brother Dakin Braddock.
CJ Clary, oh man, Dakin Braddock, man. Dakin Braddock was my roommate on the road. So man, it was some funny things, man, the conversations and the camaraderie that we shared. It's just unbelievable. And another person, just like his brother, man. We right now, man. He'll text me this day, man. Be like, "Hey, man, what's up, Thurman? Man, be blessed, man." And it's just a brotherhood that we gathered, man. Not just being coming together at South Carolina State playing basketball, man. It was like it's a long time brotherhood that we cherish. And we still communicate. Clary Judge, hands down, probably one of the best point guards I played with, man. he was one of the guys that was strict on me, man. He was never a guy that really wanted to shoot a lot. He was just making sure that I got in the right position so he know where to pass me the ball at, and that was his comfort zone, giving me the rock. He told me one time when he said, "Do you like getting the ball? Do you like scoring?" I said, "Oh yeah, of course." So he said, "Every single time you get the rebound, outlet and run as hard as you can. I promise you, it'll be right there when you get there." And that's what he did. And it was so true, man. I looked and he passed the ball that one time, and it came to me, man. I was like, wow. So we just connected after that, man. And I hate I couldn't get him a championship at South Carolina State, man, but probably one of the top 3 point guards I played with, man. High school, middle school, overseas. This is just a very intelligent guy.
Well, going into the season, Cy Alexander had a business-like approach, and seemed like that carried on really throughout the season, where it was basically they didn't have a midnight madness. It was basically no type of fun. Just talk about how he sort of set that business tone.
I think setting that tone, man, missing the tournament a couple of years, you know what I'm saying? Because Cy was a very prestige coach, man. Everybody wanted to play for him. He was always a winner. It doesn't matter who he brought in, transfers, freshmen. It didn't matter. Played with walk-ons a couple of years, man, and he always was able to get the job done. So it was just, you know what I'm saying, coming out there and proving our worth, man. Everybody knew how tough he was on paper. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is a pretty good team, man. We just got to see him on the court and whatnot, and man. It was just fruition, man. We just had a leader that was fearless, and he just wanted everything for us. It wasn't for him because, like I said, at that time, he was already a accomplished coach. So it was just, you know what I'm saying, getting us to that point, man, and practices and all that stuff, man, was very, very, very tough, to the point where when we got in the games, man, we felt like practice was way tougher than games were. So it just clicked.
At what point early in the season did y'all realize, this team could do something?
Man, it was early, man. It was early. That season, man, we actually, you know what I'm saying, made a couple of noise, made a little noise as far as the non-conference, played a couple of high major and mid-major teams, very tough. But once we got to the region and, the first slate of maybe 8 or 9 games, we was undefeated. And then that's when it started clicking. Everybody started looking at each other like, man, we can have a chance. We can have a chance. And Hampton was our foe that year. And I think my freshman year was probably the only year that I was able to beat Hampton at Hampton. So when we did that, it was like a huge accomplishment, man, because it was very tough to play in there, man. And they had some guys that was Devin Green that played at Hampton that actually played for the Lakers in the league. They had a very, very good team, man. And we just, the ball bounced for us the correct way those 3 games that we played.
Well, going to that first game, and it sort of set a trend through those 3 games where you had to literally play from behind. The first game when you fell down behind 22-4, just what was going through your mind when it's the game at home? What was going through your mind when it started like that?
Wow, that's crazy because I remember that game like it was nothing. My mom actually has the article up on the wall in my bedroom in my mom's house right now from that same game. Man, it was just never stopping, man, never giving up. We knew, like I said, we knew what we had, man. And when we came out, we got punched in the mouth, and we really didn't know how to react at that time. Game kept going on. It was just, at that point, it was just pretty much chipping. Every single 4-minute segment, man, we was trying to chip into the lead, maybe 4 or 6 points, chip into the league. So once we got to the second half and we controlled momentum, man, it was just like, this is what was supposed to happen at the beginning of the game. But they came out with the momentum and knowing what was at stake, which was pretty much first in the league at that time. So we just came out, man, and executed more than they did in the second half, rebounded, ran the floor a little bit more, and defended our butts off, man, and came off with the win.
Well, you get past that win and going into that rematch, you did have a stumble against Norfolk State, but how were you able to still stay on track?
Well, like you say, it was just focus, man. We knew that year the MEAC was very tough. We was tough as far as the top maybe 8 or 9 teams. So it wasn't no easy nights for us at all. But going into that game, man, on the road, man, it was just, high expectations of of getting the job done. And when we stepped foot out there, man, we knew what was at stake, and man, the rest is history.
So you're able to win up at Hampton, get that once again coming from behind, and then going into the tournament. You get past a tough FAMU team, and then going into the finals, and then once again you're down 26. Well, you were down 26-6 in the first game. This time 22-4, and it just seemed like Hampton was just having their way. Just how much did thinking about what happened the first time sort of help y'all for this third meeting?
Well, I feel like, you know, I'm a film guru, and when I was in college, man, I really didn't like to watch film. But against Hampton, I used to watch film and study everybody's techniques and whatnot, because, you know what I'm saying, I was a very undersized post in college. So I used to have to, you know what I'm saying, switch my craft a little bit to try to get around guys that was more taller, more lengthier, more athletic than I was. So going into that last game, man, we was down big at halftime, man, and the message in the locker room, man, was like, this game is not over. We played our worst basketball right now, and we still have a whole 20 minutes left to go. Got a whole 20 minutes left to go. And like I said, man, it was like every fourth segment, man. Every time we got into a TV timeout, we tried to have that lead down shorter and shorter and shorter. So once we get down to the crunch and the game was tight, we knew that, you know, we put the balls in the right hand, like the Dustin Braddock's, man, making sure he made the right decision and stuff like that. It was no way we could be beat. And, you know, hate to get ourselves in that position, being down every single time we played them. But I think it was a momentum swing, because when we knew it, it uplifted us a little bit, and we never got down. We were like, okay, man, this game over, whatever. We always kept fighting and kept pushing every single segment. So shout out to my guys, man, that I played with at South Carolina State, man, that got over that hump, man, and made it a special year that year.
Well, getting to the tournament, but during that time, of course, now it's Cy sort of put it in his book. At that time, it seemed like he was already negotiating to go to Tennessee State. Just how much knowledge did y'all have that he was looking to leave after that season?
Well, me personally, I had a lot of knowledge. I actually knew before he actually took the job. Him and Coach Brown, that's actually at Norfolk State right now, was on that staff. They wanted to take me and Dakin Braddock with them because we were freshmen, high caliber type guys, and he wanted to take us with him. But, you know, me as a player, I had sat on, you know what I'm saying, we had the meeting. He brought us to his house, you know what I'm saying, had the cookout or whatnot, and had his family over and was telling us, he had a whole spread played out for us, man. It was like, what we going to do here at Tennessee State, and if I take the job or whatnot. And I was like, well, I mean, all that sounds intriguing, and it did, which now in my life, I wish I would have went to Tennessee State. But me staying at State, it wasn't a bad thing. It just would have put me in a better position as far as my athletic career to get to the positions of places that I wanted to be as a player. But I decided not to go because, for one, like I said, I was a Prop 48 my freshman year. So I just got on the court. So if I would have transferred to Tennessee State, I would have had to sit out another year. So I didn't really want to go down that road of sitting out again, because it was a hard road getting me back into shape, because I got out of shape. It was a lot of stuff, academic probation. It was a lot of stuff that I was going through as a freshman because I had freedom, and it really shouldn't have happened. So it was like, yeah, you should have went so you can get out of the city and whatnot. But like I say, man, I never take for granted my years at South Carolina State, man. Is the best 4.5 years of my life. Wonderful accomplishments, man, individual-wise, team-wise, and just blessed and humble, man.
Well, of course, that year y'all ended up going against Oklahoma. Just what was that going against, playing against a guy like a Blake Griffin?
Wow, it was first of all, it was like shell shocking, because, you know what I'm saying, that big stage, you know, we get to the hotel and, you know what I'm saying, you getting escorted by polices, and, you know, they giving you, you know, certain amount of money straight off the plane and saying it's your meal money. It was like, well, we're not used to those. We're at HBCU. We're not used to that, man. On the weekend, you might get $75 for the whole weekend for meal money. and you dropping $300 per person. It was like, wow. So it was like a shell shock thing, but we knew what we was there for. We felt like we had a team to compete. We had a lot of guys that was at the big level, so that that knew what it took to actually even be in a game like that. In the first 10 minutes, we was in the game, up and down, competitive type thing, man. We wasn't backing down or whatnot, but it was just they had more knowledge. They've been in a position more than we have, and we just didn't know. So at that point, we pretty much got ran out. But the experience, man, was phenomenal, man. I wouldn't cherish. I tell my guys in AAU in high school now about the experience, man, of even making it to the NCAA tournament, having an opportunity to play there, and it's just it's a wowing experience.
And you look at it that year, what did it mean to be the only South Carolina team to go to an NCAA tournament?
It was huge. It was huge, especially at HBCU. It was very huge because who would have thought South Carolina State out of little Orangeburg, South Carolina, would be in the NCAA tournament? And at that time, South Carolina was pretty decent. We had a lot of pressure. It was a lot of schools around the state of South Carolina that could have been in that position, but you know what I'm saying. It was God willing that it was us, and I cherish all those moments that I had in 2003.
Well, you look back, is there one moment that sort of stands out for you?
Oh, you talking about in my career at South Carolina State?
Yeah, or from that year.
From that year, I would say the comeback win that we had in the MEAC championship against Hampton, because it was like the odds was against us, man. We was pretty much not playing good basketball in the first half of all the games we played in the tournament, and had to fight back and stuff like that, man. So I would say that championship game, man, because it's really hard to beat three teams in a row, or a team three times in a row. And knowing that Hampton was supposed to beat us the first two times, really, and we came back and snuck those wins out, man. It was like their confidence was already like, well, we know we can beat them. So let's just let's make get the job done. And they came out and did the same thing they did the first two matchups, and it was just a special moment because in a locker room, it was different from the other two wins. We had those seniors that got up and spoke to the team and let the team know that, okay, man, look, this is our last ride, man. And what we want to do is, man, have the opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. And if we lose, we won't have that opportunity. So we got to buckle down. We got to play defense. We got to rebound. We got to communicate. We got to do all those things, man, to get ourselves back in the ball game to have an opportunity to win. And man, it was just a blessed year, man, for all 14 guys on the team.
Well, most recently being inducted into the South Carolina State Hall of Fame, what did that mean for you? What did it say that people think about your legacy at State?
Man, it's like I said, it's a humbling experience, man. To this day, man, I still have people that I know coming to me, man. Congratulations on being inducted and stuff like that. It's just surreal, man, because I feel like I'm still a young guy. And usually those Hall of Fame things don't come into you maybe in your 50s or 60s or something like that. So it's like it's surreal, and I give all the credit to the coaches that coached me, man. Coach Sy, Coach Brown, Coach Green, Coach Francis Simmons, Coach Tim Gates. Like all those guys, man, molded me into the player I was on and off the court. And also my guys, man, my brothers, man, that went through the trenches with, man, in the hotel rooms, man, late nights, man, hungry and stuff like that, man, going to practice, calf closing, and we have nothing to eat, so we bonding together, get some Chinese food. That type of stuff, man, just brought the team together as a group. And like I said, man, the rest is history, man. It's just me sitting back. I dwell on it a little bit. I tell my kids at the house or whatnot, because they ask questions and stuff like that. Like, Dad, how you get to this point with stuff like this? And then we, communicate about stuff like that. So it's just things that, man, that just brighten my spirit and uplifts me when I go back and talk about that year alone, being around those special guys. It was just a blessing for me, for us.
Well, you're now just about close to a couple of weeks removed from winning a state title with the assistant coach. Where does that sort of rank with the state titles you won in high school, then of course winning the MEAC title, Rookie of the Year, and now this?
Man, I told Dion, man, I tell him, I still text him to this day, man. I tell him, man, I appreciate you, man, for even having the courage to bring me on as an assistant coach. Yeah, he knows how I was as a player. He knows how I was as a coach when I was at AC Floor, and knows the type of person I am off the court when I'm not coaching. So it was just a thankful experience, man. I never thought I would get to that point as a coach. I always want to, but I never thought I'd get to that point because I was always that close at AC Floor, being able to actually even play in a tournament game, a championship game. And then last year, some things happened to where AC Floor did make it to the championship. I wasn't able to coach in that game, so it was just my first experience, man. Just being happy, blessed. Finally got one as a coach, man. So that's I'm checking off my bucket list.
Well, looking back at this past year, of course, it had its share of drama, in particular with, of course, what happened with Michael Mitchell. Just
right.
How did your, I guess, past experience help with in terms of bringing this team or keeping them focused? Because after that, from that point on, Gray didn't lose another game.
Man, it was just the guys, man, dialing in, man. Like it was, first of all, man. Shout out to Maddie and the rest of our trainers at Gray Collegiate, man. It was just like, man, if they wasn't there, what would have happened? Very scary scene. You never want any player, whether they're coaching with you or you're coaching them or you're coaching against them. You never want that type of thing to happen to any student athlete. But we was put in that position, and they jumped to the rescue, man, and pretty much saved his life because he did go away from us for about maybe a minute and a half, and they brought him back too. It was just us coming together, taking the next couple of days off, man, and reminiscing on togetherness, on brotherhood, and we really didn't want to think about it, but we knew we had to press forward. And once we got that text message from him, telling us that he was okay and he wanted us to play, and that was his final word. So we just turned that season over and started playing for him, man. It was for him, and it was just even better when he actually was back, being healthy, getting that back on the court, because we wasn't gonna rush him at all. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the ball bouncing; it's about our health, it's about our growth and all that stuff. So the ball bouncing really didn't matter to us. We wanted to make sure he was fine, his family was fine before we even did anything athletically wise. So like the next 2 days after that position, we didn't even practice. Like we went into that Friday game at Keenan, not practicing. We did come together the day before, but it wasn't no practice thing. It was checking, make sure everybody's good. How's everybody feeling? Going forward, do y'all want to play? Like that situation, man. And everybody was like, man, coach, we're doing it for Mike. So it was our senior Avante, man. Avante came and told us, man, put his foot down and was like, coach, man, yeah, we're going to play, and it's for Mike for the rest of the year. He actually even gave him the trophy from that TV game to Mike. And it very, very, very happy moment, man, to actually, see him that night, man. I gave him the biggest hug, man, because I know his chest was hurting and all that stuff, man, from the compressions and stuff like that, man. It's just, you never want to see one of your players, man. Like it's like they're your kids. And you never want to see one of your kids, man, go down, man, and get injured or get hurt, because you feel it. You really feel it, especially one of those guys like Mike Mitchell. That's a tough guy and hard nosed. So it was very tough, but we got through.
Okay, so just sort of pulling this sort of full circle, just what's it going to be like for you, I guess, when the tournament starts again and looking at it? How much memories are going to be flashing back?
Man, every single time, man, I'm behind the scenes. I might not be seeing behind the scenes, but I'm behind the scenes where, you get the police escort, you walking into the arena, you know what I'm saying? You seeing all these different names on the wall that's actually made the tournament. You walk in the arena, you see your name up on the wall, it's up on the scoreboard. Like it's really happening, really happening. So I know how it feels to walk on that court for practice before, shoot around. You have a 30-minute shoot around, and you just out there. The media's out there and talking to you. It's just a humble experience, man. And I wish all the guys that's in the tournament this year, man, and going forward, they take it in stride, man, and enjoy the process, because I only went 1 year. I should have went like 3 or 4, but that 1 year is still in me because I know that experience with that team was just that much special than me, you know what I'm saying, getting there any other time. So I really hope all the guys, man, is taking it in stride and enjoying the experience because it's definitely a great one.
Well, you have someone from Gray who's going to get that experience in Khalil Robinson with how it went in the MEAC tournament.
Right. And I got to get his number from Dion. Actually, Khalil was my 7th grade point guard at AAU before he became this big guy at Gray Collegiate. So I know his parents. I know him, man. And him going through injuries and stuff like that this year, off and on. I know he's very ecstatic about getting to that position because he was getting injured and stuff like that. So it's always it takes a toll on a kid when you know so you get injured. It just brings you down. So he was one of those guys, man, strong-minded man, and was able to get the job done, man. I'm very happy for him to get this experience, go to the NCAA tournament.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Coach, sitting down, looking back at what happened 20 years ago, and I think a lot of people the same as well, particularly in Orangeburg. So,
right,
they basically will bring back a lot of memories for them as well as they, I guess, funny they haven't gone back to the NCAA tournament since then. So, in some ways, I guess it's a reminder of what this program is capable of doing.
Right. Yes, sir. And I'm in communications with the coaches now at South Carolina State, man. When I got inducted, they brought me in and whatnot, and great things that he's doing down there. The record might not have showed this year, but he got there late, and the guys that he got in was really a rush type deal. So with him having a full summer, full preseason, and all that stuff, man, I think he'll have one of the better years for South Carolina State, and I think he's going to be one of the coaches, man, that get those guys over the hump because we haven't won a MEAC championship and went to the NCAA tournament since I've been there. So I don't want to hold that record. I want that record to be broken, and I want it to be broken real soon. So I tell those guys all the time, man, it's time, and the time is now.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you, Coach. I don't know where things go from here for me, but definitely thank you for helping me out at this time.
Ain't no problem, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You have